We have with us AK Prabhakar, Ashish and Dyaneshwar joining in with their top trading ideas. Dyaneshwar, before we go into stocks, what is the trading range on the Nifty for the day?
Yeah, good morning, Samina. If you look at the recent chart structure, so we have seen that the Nifty has better somewhere bottom around 10,200 level, and it has given a pullback. And pullback is sustained towards the 10,500 mark, but intermediate very strong resistance placed near 10,550 mark. If bulls manage to take out the 10,550, then only we may see the further escalation towards the north. Which is in the proximity of 200-day moving average, which is placed near 10,770.
Dyaneshwar, what about you? What are your stock recommendations for today?
Today on the buy side, if you look at the L&T Tech recent chart structure, so it was unfolded into the corrective pattern, and the last 2 days the stock has shown some interest, and bulls are initially poised for an initial leg of up move towards the 1700, and we are recommending this buy recommendation with the stop loss of 1580. And second recommendation would be on a short side. So recently we have seen that the Dabur is moving in a clear downtrend, and after consolidation, clearly the renewed weakness is clearly observed on the yesterday's trading session. So we are recommending sell on the Dabur, giving a stop loss of 411 for an initial leg of down move towards the 366, where the first line of defense for the bulls is placed.
Right, that's the word coming on, and those are the calls again from Dyaneshwar here. Dyaneshwar, also let's talk about a couple of themes here. The first theme actually is chemical again. We saw some good momentum in the chemical space yesterday. Bring a couple of stocks here. First, again, basically GNFC again. The good momentum and the stock basically from the recent lows actually has seen a good recovery. Also, again, there is a bit of recovery in the caustic soda price. So again, that's GNFC again for you. 5% up again yesterday, and good volumes also there. From there, bring GSCL again, and then let's see again how Gujarat Alkali is doing, and then also bring JSFCA. Usually there is a sort of lag, but again these stocks they move in tandem over a period of sessions here. So that's Gujarat Alkali almost 2% up. Bring GSCL also again, a caustic soda sort of a benefit here. So again, how GSCL actually did yesterday. Let's see again that on the chart. So again another 2.5% up there. So it's a good momentum across this space. So Dyaneshwar, any stock amongst them again, if you like.
Yeah, good morning, Piyush. If you look at the JNFC, so recently on a higher time frame chart, mainly on the weekly chart, so we have seen that the stock was unfolded into the corrective pattern, and somewhere it is managed to take the support there about 320, 330 level, which was the breakout earlier, which has given in the, I guess, in the August 2018, and stock is managed to take that support. And on yesterday's trading session, we have seen that the good sort of buying has been coming into the stock. So I personally feel that the stock is initially heading for 370, 75 level. So traders can keep a stick stop loss on a closing basis about 338.
Dyaneshwar, Indiabulls Housing Finance, most brokerages have maintained their buy call on the stock. Earnings were stable. Stock was down 1.5%. Actually, no, it was up nearly 2% in yesterday's trade. As we go into trade this morning, how would you approach Indiabulls Housing Finance? It should be getting a gap up most likely.
Yes, Amita, if you look at the overall chart structure of the Indiabulls Housing Finance, so recently we have seen that the fall from the level of 1200 to near about 800 level, and the stock is managed to consolidate in the range of 1000 rupees to 850. So it is a very wide range, and the bulls are trying to march towards the north, but if the bulls is possible to cross the 1000 level, so we may see the further escalation towards the north. Otherwise the stock will trade in the range only. The range would be 1000 on the higher side and 850 on the lower side. If traders want to trade, so they can use the mean reversion strategy to the intraday, or might be a day or 2 days trade.
Dyaneshwar, what about mid-cap ITs? KPIT was up 9% yesterday. NIT Tech had a good day. Tata Elxsi also eked out some gains. How would you trade those mid-cap IT names in today's session? It's expected to see another positive start this morning.
Yes, Amina, if you look at the overall IT indices, so earlier it was moving in a leading quadrant wherein relative momentum and strength is very high. Now it has in that range has been shifted to the beginning quadrant where the relative strength is still high, but the momentum has lost. But if you look at the overall chart structure of Mindtree, So recently it has given a corrective pattern, and it has corrected from the level of 1150 towards the 980. And recently chart structure suggests that the stock is poised for an initial leg of pullback towards the 1050 mark. So I would recommend buy on the Mindtree by keeping a stop loss of 956 on a closing basis.
In fact, Dyaneshwar, most of these housing finance companies seem to be doing well, and they've held on even in a volatile market of the last few days. Do you think the bulk of the selling is over? And if you were to take a fresh call on any of these names, where would you initiate a position?
Yeah, good morning, Dipanshu. If you look at the overall housing finance structure, so I would go for LIC Housing Finance, because recently we have seen that the LIC Housing Finance has corrected from the level of 560 towards the 390, and the stock is now poised for an initial leg of pullback towards the 500 level. That would be an 50% Fibonacci retracement of the recent fall, and current market price is quoting at 449. So traders can keep a strict tight stop loss near about 435 and wait for a target of 500 on a higher side.
Let's wind it down then. Let's get some final trading calls then. Dyaneshwar, anything that you've identified, 20 minutes of trade, markets looking good at the highs of the day on the Nifty, Bank Nifty and broader markets outperforming right now.
Yes, Dipanshu, if you look at the overall chart structure of export, so recently we have seen the radical form from the level of 900 to 550, and stock is now poised for an initial leg of pullback towards the 680, which is in the proximity of 38.2% of Fibonacci retracement of the recent fall. And traders can keep a stop loss of 615 for an intraday, and for positional trades, traders can keep a stop loss of 600 on a closing basis for an initial leg of up move towards the 650 for an intraday and 680 for a positional trade.